Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. I'm Jay, and today I wanted to share 10 YouTubers that I actively watch. So this video is a little bit more off the cuff because I realized that I subscribe to a ton of different YouTube channels. But most people don't know what I actively watch and what I'm currently watching. I mean, this fluctuates like every 6 months. Like sometimes I don't necessarily unsubscribe, but it's what I'm like more honed into and what I'm watching every single video or every second video. And that's what this list is about. I'm gonna try and keep it pretty short and sweet. I'll list all the channels in the description, but I think you should check them out. Now, also because I know the way that the YouTube algorithm works and audience retention, I'm gonna start with the smallest creator up to the largest. So if you don't make it all the way through the video, chances are you know what the back 5 are at least. So I'm gonna kick this off with Sweet and Spooky.
Hello my sweeties and welcome back to my channel.
This is a brand new channel. I think it's just like a month or a month and a half old, and I don't even think I know the creator's first name, to be honest, but she does great reviews and she's just got this really charming personality. So I first found her when she did a review of The Cleaning Lady, which was a movie that I enjoyed that she also enjoyed. And then I started watching more of her videos. She does top 10 lists, other reviews, and her Starry Eyes is a really great review as well because she can relate to it to some degree. I think she only has like 1,000 total views on her channel. So this is, like I said, a brand new channel that I think is going to be a big deal at some point. Next up, we've got The Horror Hack. Now, this is a creator that's very active on all platforms, and he's coming out the gate really strong because his production value is really high, and he's very thorough with his reviews. He's well-spoken, he's funny, he's relatable to me because we both like to drink whiskey. Check him out, The Horror Hack, really great guy. Next up, we have Rotted Reviews. Now, Mike is somebody that admittedly was not on my radar for like the longest time. He became a patron. I recognized his name from Twitter, so I went and checked him out, and then I realized I wasn't following him, so I started checking out all of his content, and he does a shit ton of reviews, and he's progressively getting better and better. Much like The Horror Hack, he's very well spoken. He's much more educated than I come across in my reviews, but what I like about him is that he's consistently one-upping himself. He recently reviewed, I think it was all 22 Amityville movies. I don't know what possessed him to do so, but he did it. And now he's doing basically just like a review a day for all of October. Anyway, he's a great guy. He's putting in a lot of work. He's reviewing a ton of movies and trying to keep things pretty current. Next up is probably one of my favorite creators lately, which is Thrillhouse of Horror. Much like most people here, I found Thrillhouse on Twitter, and then I checked out her videos because she was doing true crime stuff. She also does like horror ranking videos as well, but I'm more there for the true crime. One of her more interesting videos is like the 7 unsolved disappearances, as well as The Girl in the Box, which has now inspired me to go and watch a movie based on Colleen Stan, and I will have an Extreme Underground video coming out about that whole case. But her videos are really cool. They're really basic at the moment. I think her production value will be upped at some point, but she's putting out really great content. It's well researched, and the cases are creepy and definitely making me want to dig in to find out if movies have been created based on the cases that she talks about. And so I haven't missed a video of hers since I subscribed. Next up is the only entry that's not necessarily horror, but it's Adam Does Movies. He does cover basically all movies, but Adam is just a great guy. He's super fun. His channel used to be called Movie Feuds, and then he changed it and he made a couple other spin-off channels or something, and he tried to split his content, but most of it exists on Adam Does Movies. He might compare all of the Batman movies to each other. And I was even featured years ago doing Saw versus Hostel. He really reminds me of Daniel Tosh to some degree. I don't know if it's just like his presentation or the way that he looks and even the way that he talks, but he's really enjoyable, and hearing him rant about random topics, even when it's not movies, is always entertaining, so definitely recommend him. Now, as we get into the back end of this list, most people will probably already subscribe to everyone I'm gonna talk about here. And first up should be no surprise, it's Spooky Astronauts, Emma.
Hi, my name's Emma and let's talk spooky stuff.
I think she's unanimously loved on the internet, and she's basically my go-to for any recent review. She usually does more of like the really current stuff. She'll talk about what's good on Netflix, and she does a lot of list videos lately. She's done some explain stuff, and much like most on this list, she's very well spoken, and she has like a film background, so that really helps when she talks about filmmaking aspects in general, so it just adds a little bit more depth to the reviews. Next up we have Dr. Wolfula, who I think is probably the funniest person on this whole list. He's also the only person that is a horror host, or like in character basically all the time. It's either Wolfula or Goulash if he's doing some unboxings or something, who's just savage when doing Bambox. I absolutely love him. Wolfula's doing October, so he's releasing new videos every day in October. It's pretty crazy, but I love his sense of humor. I love the delivery and the editing. It's just really top tier content, and I highly recommend. Next up is somebody that I'm pretty new to, which is Spooky Rice.
Welcome to the breakdown, where we break down all the messed up movies.
It wasn't until I started looking up like disturbing videos, because I'm trying to figure out new videos to make for Extreme Underground, and then I stumbled upon Spooky Rice, and I was just like, oh damn, he's basically reviewed everything, and I really enjoy his content. He's clearly inspired by people like Found Flicks and Dead Meat, and I think he even says that in his bio, but his content is great. It's very similar to what I've been doing with Extreme Underground, but he has a different take on it. So he steps through the movies as well, but he adds a little bit more like fun and flavor to it, where I'm trying to do a more reserved, like deadpan, like get you into a creepy mood kind of deal. So while he is on this list, I will say that I don't watch all of his videos if I haven't seen the movie and already have like a game plan in mind for my personal review, because I don't want to accidentally be influenced to say something that maybe he's said before, which can happen. It happens in a lot of other reviews. Sometimes I hear somebody make a mistake in one video, and then somebody has obviously just watched it and made that same mistake in their video, and I don't want to do that. So I make sure that I try, and this is the same with all reviews, but specifically when it comes to disturbing stuff where a lot of it is up to interpretation, I don't want to watch his videos and come up with the exact same ideas. I want to come up with them myself and relay that, and then I'll go and watch his videos. So that's also part of the reason why I'm starting to do a lot more Extreme Underground, is because I want to watch more of his videos too. So it is what it is. Next up we have Ryan Hollinger, and this is a creator that I think is the only person that I don't miss a single video. Like I watch every single video, very similar to maybe like Found Flicks doing Ending Explained. He basically breaks down an entire movie and talks about why certain aspects are important and why the movie works or doesn't. Usually it is more on the positive note. I think a great video to kind of get you invested is The House That Jack Built, because to me that was one of those movies that like I didn't quite understand the first time I watched it, but when I watched his video, he helps break things down in a way that makes a lot more sense to me. And he does that with movies that like I already know what they're about, but just hearing him break down things is just, I don't know, it's really cool. Seven, Identity, and even the Kevin Smith video that he did where he breaks down like Red State, Tusk, and Yoga Hosers. Very entertaining. Definitely check out Ryan Hollinger if you haven't. And last but not least, it should be no surprise, it's Dead Meat. Dead Meat James is one of the best creators on YouTube in general. Not only is he a great presenter, he's funny, his scripts are well thought out, and the progression of his channel has really evolved. So before it was just breaking down the kills, and now he's jumping into more of like the behind the scenes stuff as well, and giving us some more backstory to the movies as he talks about the kills. And I really appreciate this progression from him. And of course, him and Chelsea also have their podcast, which admittedly I don't listen to. I skip those simply because I don't have the time to invest. But I do watch all of the kill counts, and also the series of What's Your Favorite Scary Movie with a bunch of like WWE talent is just so cool. It's great to see a horror YouTuber elevate past like the ceiling that I don't think anybody thought you could elevate past. Like, he's been on YouTubers React. He's collabing with people like Good Mythical Morning. and he has access to WWE talent like Alexa Bliss and the Iconics, which I know that he was shaking in his boots when he was talking to them. It's just really cool to see somebody in horror succeed like he has, which I know is now inspiring other creators to really step up their games. I've noticed since James has really like taken off, people's graphics have changed, the way that they present is different, and while he may not be the sole inspiration, I think it definitely has like kind of kickstarted some other people to step up. Like I mentioned, Spooky Rice, he was directly influenced by Dead Meat, and you can even see that in his intro. It's like very similar. I don't know, he's just really cool. I met him at Texas Frightmare, I think like 2 years ago. Him and Chelsea, great people, and if you don't follow Dead Meat for some reason, I highly recommend it. Of course, it sounds like I'm simping here, but it's because I genuinely like really respect his work ethic, and I like what he's doing for horror in general. I've seen casual horror audience that usually would only watch stuff on Netflix start to find a lot of like more obscure movies through some of James's videos. A great example of this is the influx of people that have an appreciation for Sleepaway Camp. If you go and look at the comments on a video like that, there's a lot of people that are like, wow, I've never heard of this, it's great, and they're checking it out for the first time. And so what he's able to bring to horror in general, even doing recently like Tales from the Hood and Tales from the Hood 2. Tales from the Hood is one of my favorite horror anthologies ever made, and there's a whole generation of new horror fans that probably would not have heard about this unless somebody like James brought it to the forefront. And obviously, I wish that we could do that with some of the weird indie movies that we find, but we're not at a level that can spread the gospel like James can. So I think that a lot of horror creators are very thankful for what Dead Meat's doing. So that was a little bit long-winded, but if you're sticking with me, I do have a quick like 10 more creators that I just want to like throw down. These are people that I watch one-off videos from. I usually just can't invest the time to watch everything, or there's a very specific reason why I watch them. I'm just gonna kind of list these off. Jimmy Champane, he covers Halloween news. We watched a movie. They're probably some of the most likable people doing horror content on YouTube. DrumDums, who is covering a ton of stuff, constantly ranking videos. He puts in a lot of work. Horror movies and beyond. Recently featured was Tony Todd. She's even had people like Keith David on her show. Very cool stuff. Brandon Tenold, he does a bunch of deep dive analysis. GoodBadFlicks, very similar. There's Desmond's Flicks, who reviews a lot of different horror, currently going through the Friday the 13th franchise, just finished up the Nightmare franchise, just covering a bunch of stuff. Bobby Torrez, he's fantastic. He's gonna blow up. Great presentation, currently covering Lovecraft Country. He has a great review of Spiral and a fun video on like top 5 LGBTQ movies. So definitely check him out. Your Movies Suck is another channel that I used to watch a lot more, but I just kind of stopped. I think it's more just because of like the way that he uploads. I miss a lot of stuff, but he's really fun. And finally, we have GirlyGore, who's another great presenter, and she's very well thought out when it comes to reviewing movies. So yeah, that's like a lot of creators that I just wanted to share with you guys. I mean, maybe you already subscribe to them, maybe you haven't heard of them, but I will put links to all of their channels in the description. And feel free to share some of your current favorite YouTubers that you watch on a regular basis. I probably already subscribed to most, but definitely put them in the comments, because maybe there's other people that are looking for even more recommendations. Maybe they have more time to invest in watching content. So share your favorites definitely in the comments. And if you like this video, like the video. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to us here at Bloodbath and Beyond.